Peace. Back with Hip Hop Album Review, Part 11. Start with the first album. Erick Sermon's debut album, No Pressure, which was released in 1993. Erick Sermon, this was fresh off the EPMD breakup that they did back, that they broke up back in 92. And this album, his first album that he, well, not his first, but his first solo album that he did with Def Jam. Pretty good album, man. Like, this shit is so ill. Like, you know, like, if you like EPMD's, like, their later albums, I'm talking about, like, you know, like Business as Usual or Business Never Personal. If you like those albums, but more darker beats, then you would enjoy this album right here. This album was known for singles for Stay Real, Safe Sex, Hostile, which was Keith Murray's introduction to the world, but that's not his first appearance. His first appearance was a single that he released in '92 called I'm Keefy Keef, which I'll talk about later on. But yeah, Hostile, Hitting Switches, and I believe that's it. I think those are the only singles that he released on this album. This is a must-have. If you're a fan of Erick Sermon's early stuff like I am, if you're a fan of EPMD, you will definitely enjoy this album. This is No Hostile, Erick Sermon. I mean, No Pressure, Hostile, must-have, 1993. Next album, Nas' Xzibit Was Written. This is his second album, released in 1996. You know, obviously everybody knows about Nas. He released Illmatic, one of the illest albums ever made in hip hop history. This album's pretty good. This is actually considered his most successful album to date, like the most selling. A lot of people liked the album. It had a lot of mixed reviews, like from real hip hop heads, because like it had a lot more fillers, which I can see what they're saying, but not really. He kind of switched it up a little bit, you know. It had like more of a mafioso mafioso style to the album, but it's a pretty solid album, you know. I feel like it's his most overlooked album, you know what I mean? Because people wanted more Illmatic, but it's a good album. It's not bad, man. It's dope, man. It has some dope singles, some dope hot. The singles this album is known for is songs like If I Rule the World and Street Dreams, but not the original. The remix that he has with R. Kelly. That's the original. That's the remix that people are known for, that the song is known for. And the message. Yeah, this is a solid album, man. If you like mid-90s hip-hop, you'll definitely enjoy this album. This is Nas that was written 1996, must have. Busta Rhymes. This is Busta Rhymes' fifth album. This is his first album on J Records, because after he did Anarchy, he released he left Elektra Records and went to J Records and released this album. This album, to me, in my opinion, was the start of Busta Rhymes' downfall as far as making solo albums, because his first 4 albums are the shit. They're a must-have in his collection, because, you know, when he came out with the Coming album, you know, he had like the first 4 albums had like an ill theme, like had a biblical theme, saying like how the world's about to end in the world 2000, which it really didn't, but it was a good gimmick. It was a good, you know, it was a good theme. You know what I mean? Maybe made people think. And it had, those albums had like a lot of messages in the album. It had a lot of dope lyrics and shit like that. The beats were ill, but I feel like even those albums were successful, but I kind of feel like a lot of people was buying his albums just on the strength of the singles, not really the songs themselves, because a lot of the songs in those albums had a lot of ill gems, you know what I mean? But I don't think people was just buying them for the singles. I mean, for the albums themselves, they're just buying them for the singles, which is cool, but it kind of overlooks Busta Rhymes as an artist, as a lyricist, because he spit some shit. But this album right here is when he really started going mainstream. You know, he came out with singles like What It Is with Khalees. Fuck Khalees, by the way. You know why. Break Your Neck, As I Come Back, and Casa Cavassier, which is the notable singles on this album. This album's okay, but in my opinion, this was like the start of the downfall of Busta Rhymes as far as making solo albums, in my opinion. Because, like I say, he started doing all these commercial songs and shit like that. Not to say he didn't do that in the predecessor albums, but the more predecessor albums had more of the street-oriented songs, and it had like that biblical theme, like I said before. But yeah, man, this album was a no-go for me. I mean, the only good songs on the album for me, like I like the fact that he did the Shut 'Em Down remix. It was like the Shut 'Em Down 2002 version, which was an ode to Public Enemy's notable single Shut 'Em Down, which was an ode to that song. Same beat, you know, everything, you know what I mean? Just, you know, an updated version of the song, pretty much. But this album could have been better, but I didn't like this album. And we got Tupac Strictly For My Niggas album. It's a good album. I feel like it's an overlooked album in my opinion, and so is Tupacalypse Now, which I do have in my collection. This is his second album. This album is his breakout. This is considered his breakout album, and the reason I say that is because you know, he started doing more not party songs. I mean, he still does the more political albums, the political songs, but the first album had more of a underground indie hip hop vibe to it. But you know, this second album, he kind of broke out of that, and then he started using more soul samples and stuff like that. Singles his album was known for is songs like Holla If You Hear Me, which was the first single, I Get Around was the second single, Keep Your Head Up, and Papa's Song, which was his overlooked song. This album was supposed to be named Troublesome 21 because he released this album when he was 21 years old, and it was shit that he was talking about at the time. But Troublesome 21 was the original album title, but he changed it to Strictly For My Niggas. And this album was pretty good. It's pretty dope. Got some dope songs. If you like early Tupac like I do, before he became this whole thug life bullshit he was doing, this was more the social, political Tupac that everybody likes, and you know, the black nationalist Tupac that everybody's known for. But he also does the party songs and stuff like that. But this is a pretty solid album. This is a good album. This is a must-have for every Tupac fan. Straight From My Niggas, 1993. We got Capone-Noreaga's first album, The War Report. Capone-Noreaga, they met each other in jail when they was doing bids upstate New York, and they hooked up together when they got back out of jail. Tragic Gaddafi, they were under Tragic Gaddafi. He put them on, and in 1996 they released their first single, Illegal Life, which was produced by Tragic Gaddafi. Pretty dope song, which is also on this album. Singles this album was known for is Illegal Life, LA, Top of New York, or Tony, Closer, and Capone Boom. And this album was pretty solid, man. Like, if you like Queensbridge hip hop like I do, if you're a fan of like Mobb Deep's Hell on Earth, if you're a fan of Mobb Deep, you know, Nas, you know, if you're a fan of Mobb Deep's Hell on Earth album, you would definitely enjoy this album. They was kind of going for it's known for its gangster theme, the gangster themes, gangster street themes, but it was mostly known for like the militia. It had like the militia vibe to it, you know what I mean? Excuse me. Yeah, they kind of brought the militia vibe to the album. Pretty solid album. It's pretty dark. It's pretty dope. This is actually my favorite album for them. The reunion album was pretty good, but it wasn't as good as this album, in my opinion. This album was a must-have. If you love that Queensbridge hip hop like I do, you'll definitely enjoy this album. This is Capone-Noreaga's The War Report album, released in 1997. Then you got Xzibit's first album, At the Speed of Life, released in 1996. For those who don't know Xzibit, you guys should know who he is, but for those who don't know, he is an MC from Detroit, Michigan. Long story short, he moved to LA when he was 14 years old, started rhyming at an early age of 14, and soon after he met the Alcoholics, and he was affiliated with them. He was part of the whole Liquid crew. Got to start from there. His first appearance on Wax was on their second album, Coast to Coast, which to me was their best album. Which I don't have an official copy. I have a burnt copy in my collection. On the song Hit and Run, which he has a song called Hit and Run Part 2. So that was his first appearance on Wax. But also, he also was featured on Dilated People's first album, which was released in 1995. The image battle hymns of, I forgot the next title, but that album was actually unreleased. But he was on a song called Going for Broke, which you can find on YouTube. And the album remains unreleased, but he was on a song called Going for Broke. Fast forward to 1996, he was signed to Loud Records, released this album. This album is pretty good. To me, this is my favorite album from him. A lot of dope lyrics, dope samples. It has a West Coast feel to it, but the beats are like boom bap style, you know what I mean? So I guess it's like a West Coast boom bap album. Pretty solid album, man. It's a dope album. If you like mid-90s hip hop, you'll definitely enjoy this. And it has like a more of an orchestral feel to it, as far as like the samples and stuff like that. Singles, this album is known for his Paparazzi and The Foundation, which he talks about his life and shit like that. A pretty solid album, man. And what's cool about this album is you got on all the songs you got the lyrics on all the songs, which is pretty cool. So this is At the Speed of Life, Xzibit, 1996, must have in everybody's collection. Next album is The Most Beautifullest Thing in the World. This is a very, very good album. For those who don't know who Keith is, Keith is an MC from Long Island, Central Islip to be exact. He got put on by Erick Sermon in 1992. He got his start, like I mentioned on the Erick Sermon album. He released a single in 1992 called I'm Keefy Keef, which you can find on YouTube. And then in 1993, he appeared on Erick Sermon's single Hostile, which was Keith Murray's introduction to the world. And then he did his thing on that song, and everybody was like, yo, who is Keith Murray? Who's Keith Murray? And then in 1994, he released this album, The Most Beautifullest Thing in the World. The only singles this album came out with was the most self-titled, The Most Beautiful Thing in the World, and Get Lifted. Pretty good album. If you're a fan of Erick Sermon, Redman, you would definitely enjoy this album. This is a must-have in everybody's collection. 1994. Last album is his second album, Enigma. This album is pretty dope. This album was pretty dark. He was going through a lot. He was going through a lot in this album. He caught a case back in 1995 where he was in a bar, and yeah, he was in a bar. A fan I guess tried approaching Keith Murray, and Keith Murray, he's known for his temper. He has a very bad temper. He beat the shit out of the fan. He grabbed a bar stool and swung it across the guy's face and gave him a scar. So he has like a scar face now. Caught a case off of that, and he was making an album. He was in between making this album. This is Keith Murray at his angriest, if you ask me. You can hear the anger in this album. I like it. It's pretty dope. The only singles this album was known for is the rhyme. That's it. He was supposed to do another album. Another single, but he didn't. From what I've I think it was VH1. They did a biography, or I think it was BET that did a biography on Keith Murray, and I remember saying that he was saying that he was supposed to do a video for another single. I don't know what single it was, but he said he didn't even show up to the video shoot, so that's why you only have the rhyme as a single. And what's cool about this, it has the remix by unknown J Dilla or JD, and this is when he was down with Tribe Called Quest, and he was under the group the Umma. Yeah, it's a pretty solid album. I really like this album. This is, in my opinion, my favorite album from Keith Murray, and so is his first album, but this is like his darkest album. He's going through a lot on this album, and also he had beef with Prodigy at that time because in Mobb Deep's second album, in one of the interludes, he was talking about Prodigy was talking about can't stand dudes that's doing like spaced out lyrics and shit like that, and Keith Murray is known for doing that, and he felt that Keith Murray felt like that was a shot going towards him, but it wasn't. But Keith Murray didn't understand that. They sparred with each other in front of the cops, and then in Hell on Earth in 1986, they have a bonus track where they had a bonus track called In the Long Run, excuse me, where you had to put the CD on your computer, which is the enhanced CD, which I believe was the first enhanced CD in hip hop history, and you had to go on the computer, unlock a code, and it was a song In the Long Run, and in that song, they Prodigy addresses the beef with him in front of Keith Murray and Prodigy, and he talks about how they sparred in front of the cops and stuff like that. He talks about that. You can find that song on the internet, on YouTube, or if you had bought Mobb Deep's the infamous Archives, that song is on the album too. So go find that album, In the Long Run, that song In the Long Run on that album. But this is Keith Murray's dopest album in my opinion. This is a must-have in everybody's collection. Keith Murray, Enigma, 1996. Go cop it. Hope you enjoyed that. Peace.